Right, so this is quite a difficult one for me to talk about. Not so much difficult in terms of emotions, but difficult because this is probably the biggest problem I've faced, like in terms of my self-improvement is like football. You're probably asking yourself, well, what's wrong with watching football? What's wrong with like supporting your local team or supporting a team or spending time with your mates, watching football, go to matches, whatever? Well, I'm going to basically explain why I don't think it's that good for yourself personally, and certainly for me personally. So basically, ever since I was little, I was a super sporty kid. All I ever did was play football. From the age of like 3 or 4, I was playing football all the way up to like 15. That's all I ever did. And during that time, I was just mad on playing football. I wasn't really that interested in watching it. I mean, sure, I'd watch some, like maybe Match of the Day or something, but I wasn't, in my own mind, I wasn't that interested in watching it. All I wanted to do was play it. But then it got to a point really where I was about 15, maybe 15, where I stopped playing football. Literally just for a team, I just stopped playing. And it has been like quite a big regret of mine for quite a long time. Because if I look at that point when I stopped playing at 15, pretty much every area of my life just started going like downhill. I used to be quite a confident, sociable kid in my early teens and that. I was full of energy, full of confidence. I had pretty great mental health. I had no worries, obviously, because you're a kid. But then pretty much from that stage on, from like 15, I started struggling with anxiety, depression. My confidence was shot. I was losing my friends. I wasn't getting any attention from like girls anymore, which I kind of did when I was like teenager. Obviously I wasn't as fit anymore. I was like demotivated. I had no energy. To the point where when I started college, I just wasn't interested anymore. And when I left college with pretty much failed grades, I just did nothing for like, I don't know how many years, like up until about 19, 20, I literally did nothing. 21 even. And I was like a recluse pretty much in the house. Avoided any sort of social situations. But the one thing during that time that I would do every single day, and that's all I ended up thinking about all day long, was just football. But watching it this time, I literally converted from just interest in playing to all I wanted to do was watch it. All I wanted to do was consume it. All I wanted to do was follow the team I supported. So the team I supported was Liverpool. Ever since I was like kind of young, I liked them. But once I became like obsessed with watching it, that's all I did every day. Every like day after school or night after school or college, I'd come home and just watch football. Put Sky Sports News on. Put like apps on what's going on in the football world and that. And that's all I do. Any of my friends wanted me to go out, I'd be like, no. I'd say no, and I just watch football or consume football and talk about football. That's all I'd talk about pretty much, is just football. So I became quite boring in that sense as well. And you may think, well, I did enjoy it. Obviously at the time, I didn't think there was anything wrong. I just thought that was my passion, football. But now that I think of it from this point, where I'm 25 now, I realise that was never my passion. Watching football was never my passion. Watching sport was never my passion. My passion was playing it. Always was. When I was younger, it was always playing it. And what I came to realise really was I basically gave up on my life dream goal, which was to be a professional footballer. That was always my dream. But I basically just gave that up. And what I did was I basically became obsessed with just watching other men, other boys, like young players or other men, achieve my dream, achieve my goal. So all I was doing every day was just watching other men do what I wanted to do, because that's what I wanted to do. But that's all I was doing, was watching them do what I wanted to do. It took me a long time to realise, even just like recently, within like the past couple of years, I've kind of came to that realisation. Now that I'm getting a bit older, obviously I don't believe I can be a pro anymore. I mean, I still did for a while, to be honest. It never really leaves you, but I realised to myself, like the players that I used to follow, the managers I used to watch, the teams I used to follow, if you think about them specifically individually, do you reckon that they, in their day-to-day life, do you reckon they watch what other men do? Do they watch do they watch other men chase greatness? Do they watch other men chase excellence? Do they watch other men achieve their dreams? No, they're focused on themselves. They focus on their own dreams, their own goals. They chase their own greatness. So I thought to myself, well, why am I doing this? Why am I just obsessed with watching other men achieve greatness, chase their goals. I should focus on myself more. And it was difficult because my whole life was all about football. My family even thought it was weird. My brothers would be like, "Why aren't you watching football? Like Liverpool are in like Champions League, massive games. Why aren't you watching it? What's wrong with you?" So it was difficult, like that social element. But I just knew like I need to focus on myself now, otherwise I'm going to waste my life just being one of those old men who still just all they talk about is football. All they do is watch football, they go to football matches, which is fine, but like every now and then, don't be like constantly always thinking about it every day, obsessed about it every day. But that's just kind of what I went through personally. I just feel like if you're focusing on watching other men achieve their goals, what are you doing with your own life? Do you reckon you'll ever achieve what they achieve? It doesn't have to be specifically a pro footballer, but they didn't get to where they were or where they are by watching other men chase goals. They may look at other men for tips and that, but they're focused on themselves every single day to get to achieve their dreams and achieve their goals. So that's basically what I wanted to say. It's probably quite a controversial one, especially in the UK, because there's a big culture of football. Everyone loves it. Everyone talks about it. Everyone goes to the pubs, drinks, watches football. So it's just for me personally, I wanna change my life. I want to be better than I am. I want to improve myself, and I feel like the most important thing in my life to get rid of, to kind of kill in my identity in a way, is just get rid of that identity because it's holding me back. All I ever do is just consume football and what's going on. So, and what I've noticed since I've kind of culled it back a bit is I've got way more time to just think about my own life, think about what I want to do, think about how I can improve, get better, and just there's a good quote I think by Tony Robbins. He said, "Wherever your focus goes, energy flows." So if your focus is going on other people, that's where your energy is going to go. But if your focus is completely on yourself, that's where your energy is going to go. You're going to feel pumped up. You're going to be improving yourself, improving your life. And I thought, just instead of watching these guys, let them watch you. Build yourself up to the level where they end up watching you. I mean, that's inspiring in itself. So that's all I want to say. If you're mad on football, which I was, like incredibly mad on it my whole life, so like confused to the point where I thought I was watching that I was passionate about, but it wasn't. It was playing. So just focus on yourself. Try and cut it back a bit. Realize that why are you actually watching it? Like, why are you obsessed with it? Why do you feel so emotional about it, passionate about it? Why do you get an emotional wreck when your team loses? Like literally like a nervous wreck. Your body tightens up. You get all nervous, shaky. I used to get shaky and nervous when there was a big Liverpool game. Just absolute wreck. I was like, why am I doing this to myself? It doesn't make any sense. Just try and figure out why you're so obsessed with it. Is it because you're kind of living your dream through the players you're watching, the teams you're watching? You wish you were doing that yourself, or is it some other reason that you need to kind of resolve to focus on yourself and become the man you want to be? So one thing I like to follow myself is like a little quote I made for myself is basically to, instead of watching people or men, be who you want to be. Become the man who is watched. Don't watch the man, be the man.